to day 1 homework, which was assigned on March 21st, and I'm going to do problems 1 through 4 first, and then the second video will be the last problems 5 through 7. So these are the 4 problems, and they're all simplifying expressions. Okay, and you should have gotten B for number 1, A for number 2, D for number 3, and C for number 4. So the first one says which expression is equivalent to that. So I'm going to rewrite it so I can look at it. Okay, and then remember we need to do whatever's inside the parentheses first. So these square brackets count as parentheses, so we're going to do what's inside of them first, and I'm just going to leave that 5 out to the side. This 4, I'm not going to use him yet because he's being added. I'm going to do multiplication first, and just in case you need this reminder, we have PEMDAS. So right now I'm doing parentheses, and within the parentheses I'm going to do multiplication first. There's no exponents to worry about. So I'm going to take this 3 and distribute him. So he becomes plus 3x and then minus 18. And now, still within the parentheses, I'm going to go to addition. There's no division to worry about. Or actually, it's technically subtraction. So 4 minus 18 makes negative 14. And that does not combine with the 3x because x and 14 are not like terms. Then the last step is we now come out of our parentheses and we just do straight up multiplication. And we do 5 times these. So 5 times negative 14 gives you negative 70. And 5 times 3 is 15. And so that does give you B, which is just written in the reverse order. It's 15x minus 70. So it's the same answer. Okay. Number 2, simplify that expression. Again, I'm just going to write it out. Okay. And the first one would be parentheses, but there's nothing in the parentheses to simplify. The next one would be exponents. We don't have any of those, and so now we're on multiplication. So I'm going to take this negative 3 and distribute it. You have to be really careful that you take the negative with it. It belongs to the 3. You have to keep them together. So 6 comes down. Negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x, and negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then I just carry down that negative 10x. Okay? And then the next step is the subtraction and the adding. So I have negative 15 and negative 10x makes negative 25x. And then my other like terms are the 6 and then the negative 6, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So I just get A because the 6's drop out. Okay. The next one is that expression. This is a little heftier of a problem. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is check our parentheses. There's nothing that we can simplify in the second set, nothing in either of the first two, so we skip that. We go to exponent. The only exponent we have is this x squared. It's already simplified, so we leave it alone, and so now we go to multiplication. Here you have a choice. You could either distribute the 5 in first, or you can do this FOIL with these two parentheses first. I'm going to do the FOIL first. I think that's a little bit simpler if you leave the 5 for last. So 5 is just going to hang out there, and we're going to do FOIL, or distribute. So I distribute this x first. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. And then I'm going to take this 3 and do the same thing. I'm going to distribute it out. So we have plus 3x and plus 6. Okay? And then I'm just going to copy down the next line and not do anything with it. Okay. So we're still in multiplication. We now, or actually we need to go check this parentheses because we can actually simplify something before we go on. You see that we can combine the 2x and the 3x. So you have plus 5x plus 6. Remember, you can't combine x squared and 5x because they're not like terms. They have to both be the same type of x. So now we are going to distribute this 5. And then when we finish that, we'll go and distribute this negative 3. So we have 2 things to distribute. So when we distribute the 5, we have 5x squared. And then 5 times 5 is 25x. And then 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, so that's that first term. And then over here, remember this negative belongs to the 3. So it's negative 3 times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And negative 3 times 1 is minus 3. Okay. So now we're just down to adding and subtracting. We're just combining our like terms. So 5x squared minus 3x squared gives you 2x squared. 25x and negative 6x gives you 19x. And 30 and negative 3 gives you 27. And so that's your answer. It's fully simplified. You can't put anything else together because none of the rest of the things are like terms. So you just have to stop there. Okay, and then problem 4, we have our last expression to simplify. Okay, so inside of the parentheses, everything's already simplified. We don't really have any exponents besides this 2 here, which is already simplified, so we can skip straight to the m in PEMDAS. So we distribute that 5. So we have 5x squared minus 20x. And then this negative gets distributed to this. If it helps, you can pretend that there's a negative 1 in front. You don't have to, but sometimes it helps students. So negative 1 times x is negative x, and negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. So now we're finished with multiplication. We just combine our like terms. 5x squared is out here by himself. He doesn't have any friends. Negative 20 and negative x is minus 21x, and then you have a negative 1 left over. And so that gives you your answer of A.